Got some friends in the vlog here. What's up, TikTok? Ladies and gentlemen, today we are at Madame Tussauds Singapore, and right over here, this is where you find all the wax figures of multiple celebrities. And the reason why I'm going to Madame Tussauds like right now is because of something special. Because you know why? Because as of the time of recording of this video, it's the 4th of July. Of course, Taylor and Travis is already married, so of course Taylor Swift is now having a wax figure right here at the Madame Tussauds Singapore. So it is the perfect time to go to Madame Tussauds Singapore to, of course, see the Taylor Swift wax figure, and of course the 4th of July. Come on, it's a celebration. And to all my American friends, happy 250th anniversary to the US of A, of course. So I really hope you can spend time, your friends, family, go out to places like what I am doing right now, even though I'm not in the United States. But anyway, happy 4th of July to those who celebrate. But with that being said, let's head right in. So right now we are entering Madame Tussauds here. Be a star, hell yes. So we are heading straight to the entrance right now, and look at that, right over there. So right here we do have Bollywood here. So I'm not really into Bollywood, honestly, so you can see here. But if you're fans of Bollywood, good for you, I guess, but it's not for me. Like so. So there will be some parts in the video in which I'll have to do voiceover because one, the music is very loud that you couldn't even hear my voice, and for two, there are some areas in Madame Tussauds Singapore that I have no comment on, much like this Bollywood section, which is the first segment in the Madame Tussauds Singapore. And I know there are some fans of Bollywood, but me personally, I'm not a fan of it. But gotta love the fact that Priyanka Chopra Jonas is in this section, which credit where credit is due. So here we are going down to Singapore right now. So of course this is the history of Singapore, which is nice. So here we are, all about Singapore. Really nice, isn't it? So here we are. Look at that. Sir Stamford Raffles. The historic agreements, Singapore, an independent of Singapore here, 1819, of course. So this is the fishing village right here. You can see right over there. It's really quite nice, isn't it? It does really look nice. An old fishing village. You do have some information right there. Honestly, I'm not a history. I'm not really like into this history stuff. You know, I'm more into the entertainment side of things. So we're right here. So again, I really have to warn you. These are wax figures, of course. So of course they're not real. So if you're really scared about wax figures, I mean, that video may not be for you, I guess. But if you can tolerate wax figures like this, it's really nice. So here we are, Singapore right here. So you have this one right here. Really quite scenic, am I right? So right here, you can see there's a forest right there. So of course this is part of Singapore history. So I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm, again, entertainment and such. But I think I've heard like a lion. I think it's a lion roar. I'm not sure. It might be a tiger though. I'm not sure if it's a lion or a tiger. It might be a lion because Singapore, well, it's a lion. So without further ado, we shall continue. So we continue on to the history segment of Singapore, and this is where you'll find wax figures of historical figures and, of course, the culture of Singapore back in the 20th century. Like when the British have their colonial rule in Singapore, and then you have the Japanese occupation, and of course, you have the time when Singapore has become independent ever since like around 1965. So, I mean, I relatively do know my Singapore history. I mean, I'm not really a history buff on Singapore's history. I mean, but to be fair, I've been to previous excursions about Singapore's history, like the National Museum of Singapore, all these things. Like, it really helps you learn about the culture of Singapore back in the day. Like, what is Singapore like back in the 20th century, like the 1920s, and through World War II as well. So you can see all of these iconic figures from Singapore's culture right there. So you can see that yeah, so you can see that there's a lot of batik and all these local things that these Singaporeans used to do in the past. Of course, you do have the Sansui women, which I don't think it exists today, but still, it is a history that should be preserved right here in Madame Tussauds Singapore. So yeah, of course, you do have the theater right here, which showcases all these old films. And now we are moving on to the much more modern age, where you got these old TVs, and that's where Singapore became an independent country, no longer being together with Malaysia, and now it's an independent country. And now we have the first president of Singapore, who is Yusof Ishak. You know him from your Singapore dollar notes, which is nice. And then we have Dick Lee, one of the greatest songwriters and singers of Singapore entertainment history, which, you know what, you gotta have to show some respect. We got some representation of local talent here in Singapore, which, you know what, that's how we stand out from the other countries. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this segment. Now let's move on to the boat ride. Here we go. So here we are. This is the boat ride, and the first half you're going to see this boat ride is obviously going to be Marina Bay Sands, because we start off with the Gardens by the Bay super trees. So you can see here they are illuminating right here, which is beautiful, not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, some of the foliage, like all those trees, I mean, yeah, they're not, they're basically like 2D cutouts or anything, but you gotta love the fact that they actually got this replica Merlion, which is great. I mean, I'm glad that it doesn't even spray water at us, because that would have been awful, especially when I'm holding my DJI camera tripod. But yeah, we are traversing around Gardens by the Bay, and over here we are arriving to the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, and that's where you find this beautiful Airbus A380 Singapore Airlines. Like, they really put in a lot of effort into making this boat ride. I mean, you gotta have to be honest here. And of course, you do have the racing lights, which will lead us to Formula One legend Sebastian Vettel, baby. Here we have Sebastian Vettel, which is nice. Gotta love the fact that Sebastian Vettel is right here in Madame Tussauds. Unfortunately, Sebastian Vettel retired, after the end of the 2022 F1 season. But hey, he's one of those racing legends of the 2010s and even like the 2000s even, which is really nice. So the second half here we have a local military soldier. Gotta love the fact that we got some representation from the Singapore Armed Forces. And of course, you have the animatronic lion, which is basically the lion dance from every Singapore Chinese New Year festivities, of course. And speaking of Chinese New Year, you do have these lanterns, which is obviously Chinese. I mean, it also represents a Mid Autumn Festival, because I think we also celebrate that too. But anyway, that will conclude the boat ride, and let's move on to the next one. So we are continuing our journey here in Singapore. So right here, I think, is this Lee Hsien Loong? This might be Lee Hsien Loong, former prime minister here. Lee Hsien Loong, which is nice. It's right here. I grew up with Lee Hsien Loong, by the way. He is my prime minister, to be honest. I mean, I know the old generation. We got Lee Kuan Yew. We will get to that later, but Lee Hsien Loong right there. I grew up. I grew up with that prime minister, and yeah, we now have Lawrence Wong as our current prime minister. But this is what I grew up with. So you have all these Asian politics right here, which is nice. Mao Zedong, Lee Kuan Yew. Wait, there he is. The one in the, which, by the way, has Moonlit City, the musical, which is going to be showing on August. So of course you have Lee Kuan Yew right there, and yeah, again, the Moonlit City musical will cover the story of Lee Kuan Yew right there. Look at that. Obama! To all Americans who are celebrating, I am right here in Madame Tussauds Singapore beside this Barack Obama, and I am here to say congratulations to all my American friends for celebrating the 250th anniversary of American independence. As at the time of recording, it is the 4th of July, and you know what that means. It means the fireworks will go off, the celebrations will start, the festivities will begin, all here as America celebrates its 250th anniversary of independence. Thank you. This throne belongs to me now because it represented the Chiefs dynasty from Super Bowl 54 to Super Bowl 59. Who will know that the Chiefs' kingdom will soon come back with a vengeance? So here we are with Queen Elizabeth right there. So you got all these politicians, of course. We have here Gandhi and Nelson Mandela, of course. Let's not forget, here we have the, of course, my relatives and, of course, my grandparents. Well, former presidents of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, of course. So he's a former president of Indonesia. So yeah, all these politicians. Here we have Xi Jinping of China. I'm gonna say it's actually really nice. Look at the plane right there. Yo, dog. There's no way. Would you look at that? Welcome to sports. Yo. We have the great Muhammad Ali. God damn. It's amazing. Here we have local football legend here in Singapore, Fandi Ahmad. So right there. Really nice. Yo, there's no way. They got him. And he's playing in the World Cup right now. There's Ronaldo. So over there, of course, David Beckham doing some of those sit-ups. Hot damn. And of course you have our Paralympian here, Yip Pin Chiu. And you know what? Gotta have to represent. Gotta have to represent the local Paralympians here in Singapore. Of course, wearing the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic outfit. Really nice. Really nice, I'm gonna say. So right now, right here, these are of course martial artists right here. Bruce Lee. That's right. Bruce Lee, of course, right there. One of the legends. One of the legends right there. Bruce Lee right there. Jackie Chan. Gotta love that. Now we're moving on to the movies. Of course. Right now, time check. Around 2:50 p.m. right now. So right here, Audrey Hepburn. My dad loves Audrey Hepburn. By the way, here we have E.T. Sounds nice here. Wow, this is nice. Gotta have E.T. right there. He's really cute. He's really cute. He's really cute. I'm gonna say, and of course you do have the spaceship right there. So here we have Marilyn Monroe. Gotta love that. Oh my god. Wait. Yo. Hang on. You got Daniel Craig, James Bond right there. And the fucking Terminator? Arnold the fucking Schwarzenegger? And his bike? What? There's no way. That's fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger right there, bro. Really? He's really cool. He's really cool, bro. He's really cool, bro. God damn. Listen up, you motherfuckers. No one can stop me. Not with the Terminator right around. This Terminator's gonna protect all of us. I will make sure that Judgment Day is not gonna happen. Motherfucks. So right now we are heading straight to the music section right here. So you have Dua Lipa right there, which is nice. Look at that. Unbelievable. You see that Dua Lipa is right there. And of course, right here, you got Beyonce. She won Album of the Year. Right here. She won Album of the Year, you know, like on that right there. Of course, you do have the DJ set here, which is nice. So I have to do some voiceover here because the music is very loud. But here we have Justin Bieber. Of course, you are exactly where you need to be. And I don't expect the outfit from Justin Bieber here. And of course, you do have Harry Styles, which is awesome. I think that's from the Watermelon Sugar. I mean, the colors do kind of feel like it's from Watermelon Sugar, I assume. But here we have the GOAT, Michael frickin' Jackson. Oh boy, I grew up with Michael Jackson when I was a kid. I mean, I remember when I was on MTV, I wouldn't stop like listening to the Michael Jackson music videos. I mean, there's one on the TV right now, which is Billie Jean, and of course you can see myself doing some moves here. You know, I mean, I mean, it's not 1-2-1 obviously, but at least it's worth the shot. You know. I mean, we can really say that I still got the moves. So yeah, really a fan of Michael Jackson, but that's not what you came for. Instead, Taylor Swift is finally here for a limited time only because yeah. And honestly, I mean, after like seeing that Taylor and Travis got engaged, and of course it's the 4th of July. It is the perfect timing to get to Madame Tussauds right here, and you know what? Yeah, it is really amazing, and of course she's in her lover bodysuit, you know, like the one from the Eras Tour movie poster, and it's like honestly one of the most iconic Eras Tour suits ever. Like, I mean, it's so iconic that everyone recognizes who she is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I'm probably shorter, like in terms of the height, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, Taylor, congratulations on your wedding with Travis, of course, at Madison Square Garden, and of course to all the Swifties. Happy 4th of July. So as I was saying, yeah, of course I'm really shorter than Taylor. Like you can literally see from the height here, and yeah, I really had fun, basically doing some shit in front of the Taylor Swift wax figure. I mean, of course, she's not like living because she's not the real Taylor. She's just a wax figure. But it is really fun to just like see it up close and personal. And you know what? Here's a message to close that one out. Ladies and gentlemen, On behalf of all Swifties here in Singapore, to Taylor and Travis, congratulations and happy 4th of July. Let's go! So here we are at this other Bollywood kind of, again, I'm not a fan of Bollywood, but yeah, you gotta have to respect like all of these things. It is really nice. It is. I mean, the colors are very vibrant. Like, there's so much attention to detail here, and yeah, you gotta love the fact that like gold is basically the constant theme of all of this because why not? Everybody loves gold. Gold basically represents that you're a winner, and of course the prestigious awards and all that stuff. It really fits the tone of how prestigious awards festivals can be, like the Oscars or the Grammys or something like that. But yeah, let's move on. See here, we got Asian star power here, which is nice. So here we go. So here we have Michelle Yeoh right there. So I know her from, of course, most recently Wicked Parts 1 and 2. Leonardo DiCaprio, Inception, Wolf of Wall Street, Titanic, and now One Battle After Another, of course. What is that? Johnny Depp? There he is. The one and only. Damn. So here we have the two Marvel actresses. You know these two. Here we have Scarlett Johansson, who you know her as Black Widow from the Avengers franchise. And of course you do have Zendaya, also known as MJ from the MCU Spider-Man movies. And speaking of Marvel, here we are. Here's the remnants of the Marvel segment because I think I've heard that the Marvel 40 is gone forever, and I think they might be replacing that with a new segment very soon. But you do have remnants. Of course, you did that the Iron Man suit, the Mark 6 over there. You do have the Infinity War suit. You have Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange there. And you do have Tom Hiddleston as Loki. And of course, the Spider-Man over here. It's not the MCU Spider-Man. It's basically more like the comic book Spider-Man. But still, you gotta have to respect that there are some of these MCU representations. So of course, you do have the Iron Man suit from Infinity War. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Marvel segment. And it might be gone forever too. Alright, I think that must be it. You can see right over there, it feels like we've reached the end. And of course, we do have the store right there. So let's see what it has to offer. So here we are at the Madame Tussauds store, and as you can see, most of the products here are basically like these resin awards kind of thing. I mean, hey, you know what? If you want to host like your very own Oscars, I mean, I guess you could buy a bunch of these. I mean, I don't know how much you're gonna spend in total just for that, but hey, at least you got some sort of cheap or affordable kind of alternative to like, the Oscar award or the Grammy awards or something like that, so you can basically like proclaim that I won an award. Like, I mean, technically, I guess, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, and of course you do have the shot glasses, the cups, the bottles, all that. And of course, when it comes to collectibles, it's basically like your Marvel stuff, and I think it's only just the Marvel stuff. I mean, there are also like Power Rangers there, but yeah, nothing much when it comes to toys and merchandise. And of course, you do have an added bonus. Tom Cruise, gotta love him. He plays Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible, and of course, Pete Maverick Mitchell from the Top Gun franchise. I mean, he does play other roles as well, but I really can't get into more of that. But here we go. We have some F1 t-shirts, which are very expensive, by the way. And you do have these F1 cars. Gotta love it. Gotta love it, guys. If you're an F1 fan, that is. But yeah, there are two versions of the microphone award, but I decided to go for the cheap one because, I mean, then again, it's basically the same thing, but with like a different way on how they do the gold colors. But yeah, so you can see here the comparison between the cheaper model and the expensive model.
can see that the expensive model has much more gold and vibrant colors here. But I decided to take, you know what, let's take the cheaper one because I don't want to spend a lot of money on my trip. And that concludes Madame Tussauds.
So, how is Madame Tussauds so far? I would say the experience is really good. I'm gonna say I think Taylor Swift is obviously the showstopper here in this visit here at Madame Tussauds. And of course, what I bought from the shop is of course this microphone award. So you can see right over here. It is covered in bubble wrap, but you can see. Oh, look at that! Let's see. There you go. But anyways, in terms of other things in the store, there's no Taylor Swift merch. But hey, beggars can be choosers. But of course, I got to get the mic. Of course, you know, music artists and all that. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it here at Madame Tussauds Singapore. And I'm gonna say it is really great to see that Taylor Swift wax figure right there. And yeah, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, to all my Americans who are celebrating, happy 4th of July. And yeah, that is where we're gonna wrap up this video. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. Of course, comment down below about your thoughts here. But yeah, that is pretty much it. It's time for me to go, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!